discriminate against either one of them. I am your host, Ricky Rod Reed. You can find me at RickyRod66 on X. I'm joined by the talented IDP savant, Shawn Teague, who you can find at Shawn8386. We're thrilled to be here with you on Sunday, November 9th, the 10th weekend of the NFL regular season. Hard to believe that we are already into week 10. Let's start right away. We're going to jump in and talk about some key outs and injuries and so forth. And we're going to start at linebackers. But the linebacker position, we're going to actually start with a couple of people that are not out. Frankie Louvu, who during the IDP Plus Advice Show, that if you haven't been watching, you really need to check out, recorded on Tuesday night. On Tuesday night, Frankie Louvu had been suspended. On Wednesday, they reversed that and fined him $100,000. That's a lot of money. But Frankie Louvu will be playing this week. Devin Lloyd is off the injury report. He will be playing. But another big piece of news at linebacker position, Quincy Williams was benched by the Jets. Ironically, they waited to tell him that after his brother was traded to the Cowboys, Quinnen Williams. And they are brothers, by the way. That's not just a coincidence. So Quincy Williams is benched. Kiko Mauagoa would be the person you'd expect to play in his absence, but he was also listed as questionable. So we could be talking about Michael Walker. So we'll have to keep an eye on the injury reports here as the inactives when they come out here in about 30 minutes or so. TJ Edwards is out. He had hand surgery, which means he'll be wearing a club. But he also has a hamstring problem once again, and it's more the hamstring problem is the reason he is not playing. So TJ Edwards is out. Expect a lot of Noah Sewell. Mac Wilson is out. Corey Simon is going to take his place, not only take his place in the lineup, but will wear the green dot, according to reports, as opposed to Akeem Davis-Gaither. Darius Muasau is out. Not only is he out, he got put on injured reserve. So Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, if he's sitting out there on your waiver wire, go grab him and stick him on your bench, particularly in deeper leagues. Cole Hull come out, Christian Ellis out, Shaq Thompson out. Ernest Jones is doubtful. Drake Thomas was named a captain for this week. That certainly would seem to imply that Drake Thomas will be playing the green dot role. Ernest Jones won't be playing. Carson Schlesinger, surprisingly questionable. Tatum Bethune and D. Winters are both questionable as well. They're in the later afternoon window, so be sure you have options just in case those two are surprisingly inactive. They still expect them to play. Shawn, out of all those news, anything in particular jumps out at you?
The Quincy Williams one surprised me the most after they had benched Jamien Sherwood for that first quarter last week. So yeah, that really weird. I don't know what's going on there with the Jets. I don't like it. Yeah, that one got me definitely the most. There was another one. Carson Schlesinger, being questionable, getting in a limited practice, I believe, Friday. That was a big surprise. I was expecting him to be out for several weeks, not just 2. So I don't expect him to play, but it's crazy progress he's made so far.
And that's what they alluded to, that it wouldn't be on injured reserve necessarily, but probably pushing closer to 4 weeks. So I'm still expecting him not to play. We'll see how that works out. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the questions. And Bird is the first one once again this week. Welcome, Bird. Glad to have you. We can't believe this week too, either, Bird. We're right there with you. Thank you for giving your scoring system as a reminder. That really helps us in our recommendations. So he wants to start 2 at a Landman, Tyrese Knight, Cashman, and Noah Sewell. I have a feeling we'll have a decent amount of Noah Sewell and Tyrese Knight questions today. But so of these 4, right off the bat, Shawn, I'm going to not start Tyrese Knight.
I'm not either. He's still the low man of those 2. Yeah, he's out for me for sure.
Now, Noah Sewell was much more productive than TJ Edwards was when Sewell was playing earlier this year when Edwards was hurt. Edwards hasn't necessarily been productive. Do you think that translates to Sewell and he's the other one you're sitting, or are you sitting at Landman or Cashman?
I'm starting Cashman for sure, just based on that defense. what he can do in that defense. Yeah, he's the main guy there. So I'm sticking with Cashman. While Sewell was solid, he hasn't been anything too flashy. Where Landman has gotten some turnovers, some sacks, stuff like that. So uh, Sewell probably has a pretty safe floor. He's a pretty safe option this week. Landman's where I'm going. Landman, Cashman.
We're going with the mans, land and cash, and I'm right there with you. I'm 100% aligned with Sewell third and Tyrese Knight a distant fourth. All right, Bird has one more question. Needs to sit in one of these defensive backs as well. Adam Morig, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and Malik Mustafa.
Ooh, it's a pretty good little
Now,
group here.
now in Gardner-Johnson, the thing that to keep in mind, he only played in the was it the 50% range or the 70% range? He played that slot cornerback role, and yes, he was productive, but he got a sack that helped boost up his scoring. If he's playing that slot corner role, he's likely only to play about 70% of the snaps because that's what they were doing with Kyler Gordon as well when he was in there. So that's one of the things that's a drawback against Gardner Johnson. Shawn, what are you thinking here?
I know it's a drawback for him, but this is what he wanted. He wanted to be able to blitz and come off that edge. That was the issue in Houston. He was wanting to blitz a lot more, and they said, no, that doesn't fit our scheme. And that was one of the reasons he was bounced out of there. So it it's a good scheme for him. We've seen what Alontae Taylor has done in that scheme in the past.
But I really like the matchup of Morrig against the Saints and Mustafa against the Rams as well.
Yeah, Mustafa's my top guy here. I definitely want him in this game. Now, Merrick has been up and down a bit. He almost needs a big play these days to also warrant the start, where his tackles haven't been as high as they were earlier in the year. So I see him and Gardner Johnson a lot closer than I think you do.
And of course, one of the things I warned about on the IDP advice show is the Saints offense has been doing so little and they haven't been on the field for a lot of snaps as well. So even with Merrick's great usage
Hmm.
close to the line of scrimmage, he might not have the opportunities as much. So he might play the same number of snaps as Gardner Johnson the more I'm thinking
Right.
about it because the Saints can't stay on the field. I'm still going to lean towards Merrick. I think you're leaning towards Gardner Johnson,
I
though.
am. I am. So
Okay.
we're going to
So
split that second one.
Bird, we're splitting that second one. So if you want the potential for a big play splash as Gardner Johnson, Merrick would probably be a little bit less risky from a floor perspective. Is how I'm feeling about that one. Okay. All right, let's move on to John. John's becoming a regular. Welcome, John Wasco, again this week. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for giving the scoring system. Pick one out of Mike Green, Josh Hines Allen, Will McDonald, Verse definitely starting Chase Young. So I think he's got to play two, and he's definitely starting Verse. So we got to pick one out of the rest of them. That's the way I interpret this.
I think it's Chase Young for me. Just looking at this group, I don't trust Green at all. He's still green. Uh, Hines Allen.
You beat
Yeah,
your
you
own.
like that one?
Yeah. Now Hines Allen is going against the Texans and Davis Mills.
Yeah, he's had success against the Texans, but he also disappears a lot. I'm afraid that was his big blow up game last week for 1.5 sacks. McDonald, boomer bust, gives me no floor. Chase Young has been really solid since he's started playing this season. I'm going with Young.
Yeah, and he should get plenty of snaps based on what we just said about the Saints
Yeah.
offense. So I've got Chase Young by a hair over Josh Hines Allen and McDonald and Green way further down as well. Sounds like you have a little bit of bigger gap, but we're both leaning with Chase Young on this one. John, good luck to you. Fantasy breakout. Hello to you as well. Yeah, a little bit later than usual here, but glad that you're still one of the first ones getting in. Rank the following linebackers for this week. He's got Jamie and Sherwood, Oluwakan, a Seattle linebacker Jones misses, and we do expect him to miss. So we'll call it
Yep.
Drake Thomas there and Demario Davis. High tackle floor with upside needed.
Sherwood's my top guy. Davis, Demario Davis, I think is my number two here, just because I expect the Panthers to run the ball a lot and Davis to make a lot of tackles. Basically, Pete Warner is no threat to him whatsoever. The old man's still getting it done, so I believe he's my second, and then it's probably Drake Thomas from Seattle over Foye Oluokun.
Yeah, I do not like the Lucan matchup against the Texans. The Texans have been struggling to run the ball.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't see them
Now,
being on the field a lot, basically.
yeah, and the one thing potentially that could help a Lucan is Dalton Schultz was a fairly frequent target of Mills when Mills was in last week. So there could be some cheap short tackles and these short passes, but still not feeling great about a Lucan this week. And so I think I'm with you. It's Sherwood, Davis, Drake Thomas, Aluakon. So that's our answer, Fantasy Breakout. Good luck to you, sir. And John Wasco has one more question. And he is saying to pick four out of this star-studded cast of Demario Davis, Servasi Dennis, Christian Roseboom, Toto, Quay Walker, Trevin Wallace, and Peyton Wilson. Let's start at the bottom. Is there anybody you're easily throwing out? I know one for sure.
Toa Toa.
Toto, okay, he is easily out. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got to throw out two more. Trevin Wallace is playing a lot, but he's not getting the stats, so he would probably be the second one I'm taking off of this list.
I'm with you. Rose Boom is definitely getting the tackle numbers where Wallace is getting the playing time. Um,
And
Walker?
we just talked lovingly about Demario Davis.
Yeah, Davis is safe. Peyton Wilson, with his limited snaps, has actually really been productive. Cole Holcomb is out, so there's no real threat there. So I think I'm safe with Wilson. I'm safe with Dennis. So Rose Boom and Walker is basically where I'm at. The threat of the Saints not being able to do as much has me a little more worried about Rose Boom now that I think about it. And then Walker, he's had good games. He's had some mediocre games. That's where I'm at. I'm between these two right now.
Yeah, and I'm with you as well. And because of the concern of the Saints offense, I've, I've I think I'm leaving Roseboom out.
I think I am too.
I just don't trust the Saints right now offense. And I think y'all know I'm a Saints fan, and I'm really down on them. But I think I'd rather go Quay Walker. I think Roseboom will do okay,
Yeah.
limited snaps, but I think I'd rather play Walker.
Yeah, I do too, especially going against Philadelphia, who is pretty run heavy. I feel a little safer with Walker as well.
Yep. All right, there you go, John. There's our answer. And as a reminder, folks, to make sure we answer your question, if you want to use the super chat capability, Shawn will be checking for that periodically, and we'll jump ahead to your question to make sure we answer it before we go off the air and no longer live. But in addition, if we see it, we will actually accelerate it to above other questions as well. So take advantage of that super chat capabilities. All right, let's move to Fantasy Breakout with another question here. With Hufanga's latest success, how do you like him rest of season, comparing him to Derwin James, Kenneth Moore, Lassiter, and Petrie? Kenny Moore is last on this list for me for sure. And I
Yeah.
always prefer safeties over cornerback, Shawn.
Yeah. Fonga's right there with James.
Yep.
Right there with him. Petrie's been really solid, so he's probably third on this list for me. I actually like him and Lassiter pretty even. Lassiter's probably one of the safer cornerbacks you can start. 4 or 5 tackles, potential for some deflections, interception every now and then. So he's decent. Kenny Moore, the entire Colts defense has had a hard time getting a lot of stats. Either they're in blowout games for the good reasons or for the wrong reasons, and they're just not getting all the production that we really need from this guy. So he's been hard to play.
Okay, so final order, Shawn.
I'll still go James slightly over Hufunga. Then it's Petrie, Lassiter, and Moore.
We are 100% aligned on that one. And I think once Travarius Smart is back, Moore's playing time is going to be even lower. I think uh, Moore is the distant last on this list. Okay, fantasy breakout. Tight end question, as always, in a half PPR. Loveland, Ottner, Schultz. So Shawn and I were actually briefly talking about Loveland a little bit before the show. And while he had the huge game last game, one it was against Cincinnati, Komet basically left the game with, I believe it was a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
He is playing this week. So Komet is back. So even against it with the tremendous matchup, and a lot of people have Loveland ranked fairly high, I am just not that comfortable that he's gonna, that he's gonna come close to repeating what happened last week. So, but out of Loveland, Otten, and Schultz, and we were just talking about how Mills will probably have a bunch of dump offs to Schultz as he did. I'm actually leaning towards Schultz on this one, Shawn.
I am too. The Jaguars are giving up the second most points to tight ends, so it's kind of the perfect storm here for these guys. With Schultz being Mills' top target and the Jaguars not being able to stop tight ends for whatever reason. That could change a little bit with Devin Lloyd coming back. Maybe he locks down a little more, but I still like Schultz out of this group here. Plus,
Okay,
I think
so
Chicago is expecting some wind gusts, maybe some snow or something. Was it
I don't
snow
know
or
about
rain?
snow necessarily, but they were talking about significant wind gust as well. That's a great call out. I forgot to mention that. Um, we're getting towards that part of the year where we need to start watching weather reports, and the wind gusts are supposed to be significant in that Chicago Giants game. So great call out. One more reason to lean towards Schultz on this one. Fantasy sports. Welcome, fantasy sports. Which two safeties should I start? Although he already has one of the three as a lock in his mind with Tyke Smith. So are we recommending Winfield or Mustafa to fantasy sports this week, Shawn? Oh, his other option, by the way, he says he could drop anyone for Okada and start Okada or Okada, depending on.
Oh boy, I'm actually fine with Smith and Mustafa here. I like Okada in some of my deeper leagues just because we start more safeties and we need a few more. Um, but when you have these options, I think you're fine keeping him on the bench right now or waivers. So Mustafa's my other option here. I like him over Winfield.
Right, I am with you as well. The gap for me isn't that big between Mustafa and Winfield, but I do
Right.
like Mustafa over Winfield and definitely over Okada as well. Okay, and John has one more question. What the heck? He says. Might as well ask about the back end too. Pick two out of Hawkins, Medlis, Merrick, and Mustafa. You guys are great, and your feedback is greatly appreciated. John, thank you for the kind words, and we enjoyed doing this for everybody. So we're having fun with it as well. So, Shawn, with that, anyone drops off the list pretty quick for you. Hawkins for me falls off the list.
Yeah, Hawkins drops off as well. He's too big play dependent. Plays more on that deep end as well. So
So
Hawkins is out.
out of the three M law firm of Medalist, Merrick, and Mustafa,
Yeah.
who are we rolling with here?
How many? I'm picking two. All right. So give me Mustafa. I've been talking up the whole time, so he he better bail me out this week. I'm sticking with Mustafa, and I think I'll take Metellus over Merrick.
Yeah, based on once again, this is for this week with the Saints and expected low snap count. Usually, and for those that haven't been able to listen to the IDP advice show, teams have been playing about 65 snaps on average on defense per game. The Saints were on the field; their offense was on the field for about 40. What was it? 41, 42 snaps this past
That's
week.
awful.
That is awful. So it's hard to rack up IDP stats. So that is what is has us trending away from Merrick this week, folks. So that's what we're going with Mustafa and Medalist on this one, and not Merrick. If the Saints offense surprises, if you really put
It'd be a major surprise, according to Ricky.
it, yeah, it would be a major surprise, but go with Merrick. But if you believe our narrative that the Saints offense is going to struggle once again against Carolina, whose defense is shockingly doing so well this year,
Yeah.
but then you would roll with Merrick. Okay, let's go to Harry. Always great to have Harry with us. Harry has a couple of questions. First one is Cooper, DeJean, or Witherspoon. Well, because I delivered some bad news on the IDP advice show on Tuesday night with the acquisitions of Jair Alexander and with Michael Carter. And Alexander hasn't exactly been doing well. And the talk of maybe moving Cooper DeJean outside if Alexander doesn't help out, because surely Adderey Jackson hasn't done it. Ricks hasn't done it. Ringo hasn't done it. Jacorian Bennett hasn't done it. So, and Michael Carter has been a pretty solid slot cornerback through the years. So I delivered that news and also talked about the fact how Witherspoon played primarily on the outside and Iman Wari played that slot role and played almost all his snaps Coastal line of scrimmage. So Harry was even asking, should he drop one or both of these for other folks? Told him, hold on, let's wait a week. So that's a little bit context behind why Harry's asking this question for not only Harry but the rest of the audience. So Shawn?
Oh boy. Two guys that were in way different spots at the beginning of the season here. I think I'm leaning DeJean just because of all the other better tacklers that are going to get to the ball before Witherspoon can. And go ahead.
Yeah, I'm leaning DeJean as well. Sorry, Shawn, I didn't mean to cut you off. But Witherspoon, we know played on the outside for sure, and that's likely to continue because Josh Jobe will be inactive with his concussion. So all the more reason he probably stays on the outside, where DeJean might play outside. So I'd lean DeJean over Witherspoon.
DeJean has Quinyon Mitchell even on the opposite side, even if he does start. So I imagine teams are in no hurry to throw the ball towards him either. So that would still leave DeJean as a bit of a target. Whereas Witherspoon is probably the best corner on this team. Josh Jobe is out this week as well. So I would expect whoever's filling in for him to actually eat up more targets than Witherspoon.
All right, let's go to Harry's second question. This is a tight one. George Kittle or Gaston, both are in my top 5 this week, Shawn. Neck and neck. Gaston against Pittsburgh, who up until last week basically was really dying against tight ends.
Yeah.
And Kittle against the Rams, and the Rams haven't been spectacular, if I remember correctly, against tight ends. But you still have Mac Jones at quarterback. And it's because of that I'm leaning Gadsden over Kittle.
I think I am too. And part of this is because I'm expecting a shootout between Pittsburgh and LA here. Just because the Chargers have no real rushing attack. They've got 20 running backs on IR, or whatever the real number is. and they have to throw. And yeah, I'm going Gadsden slightly over Kittle. Oof,
All right.
I wouldn't have thought that.
We're both leaning Gaston over Kittle. I don't think anyone would have said that to start the year.
No.
Okay, Skywalker is joining us again. Welcome, Skywalker. And Skywalker says, with DeForest Buckner out, and in case people didn't see it, what a major blow for defensive tackle required leagues with Buckner going on IR. It went from neck being ruled out to the next day being put on IR. So he needs to pick up a starting DL. He already is starting Will Anderson. Who should I pick up from Daniil Hunter, Vita Vea, Greg Rousseau, Draymond Jones, Chase Young, or Alex Wright? There's some very good options there. And he has a scoring system, which is important. So let's look at his scoring system, Shawn. 5 points for a solo, but 10 points for a sack.
Wow. This is big time scoring here.
Yeah. So
Collections are 5 points. Wow.
Pass defense. So let's go back and look at his list now. Solo tackles being 5, assists being 3. With that in mind, Daniil Hunter has not been. He's been, according to PFF, his pass rush win rate has been fantastic. He hasn't been translating it to a lot of stats though. Now in a defensive tackle required league where I had DeForest Buckner, I actually picked up Vita Vea this week. because I love the matchup against the Patriots, and the Patriots have been destroyed on the inside. Patriots are second in sacks given up. Drake May is one of the slower in terms of getting rid of the ball. And so for this week, I do love me some Vita Vea on this list. There's arguments with Young and Wright now potentially getting sacks as well, but I think Vita Vea will get a few tackles and a sack this week. But that's for this week. Shawn, do you feel differently? And you might.
Yeah, I also like Baya this week. Chase Young was the other one I was leaning towards here. Uh, Over Wright, I'm not sure how this is going to play out with Justin Fields running around, how much they're going to be on the field. So Alex Wright's kind of sliding off a little bit for me this week. And I'm a
I hope you're
known.
wrong with that because I'm playing him in the league as well. But
Yeah, it's different if you have to. But if you have these options, I'm probably not starting him over any of these. Russo, I'm a known Russo hater, so he's definitely out.
all right,
I,
so final answer. I'm going with Vea on this one
I'm
for
still
this
going.
week.
I think I'm still pulling the trigger on Chase Young.
All right, sorry, Skywalker, we're splitting it on you. We talked about Chase Young earlier. Hopefully, you heard that as well. So that's who we narrowed it down to you for, man. Sorry, we couldn't consent on that one. Okay, he has one more question here. In PPR, who should I start? Parker Washington, Demario Douglas, Tez Johnson, Jacoby Myers, or Shaheed?
You're not the only one in these situations. I'm leaning.
Go ahead.
I think I'm leaning Parker.
But for me, it's Parker Washington, and actually, I'm comfortable with Shaheed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, on the one hand, you can make an argument Jacoby Myers just joined the Jaguars, Shaheed just joined the Seahawks. But in this
Yep.
case, Shaheed at least was in the offensive system that Kubiak ran. And Darnold has been really lightning on target. So feel pretty good about that over Jacoby Myers. Tez is Tez. Douglas, that rotation the Patriots have at wide receiver, don't trust.
There's
De'Ami Brown is active, but Brian Thomas is out. Travis Hunter is out. I still expect Parker Washington to have a decent game. He's more of the slot guy, too. And with Lassiter and Stingley on the outside and Petrie out this week, Jalen Petrie is out.
yep.
So I think that's even bodes better for Parker Washington. So that's where I'd lean Skywalker. Final call, Shawn?
Yeah, I'm with you on Parker. As far as Pop Douglas goes, there was talks of getting Kyle Williams more integrated this week as well. So that's
Which means
I would
Diggs
think
would
it's a
play
knock
more of the
against him.
slot as well, probably
Yeah,
as well.
yep. I'm with you.
All righty. Aaron Light in time and space. I think this is a first. So welcome to the show, Aaron Light in time and space. Glad to have you. He needs a defense back for today. Tackle heavy scoring. Bishop,
Oh boy.
Okada, Trader, Reed. Well, Trader, we don't even know if he's going to start or not. Both Melifonwu and Davis were questionable, but both expected to play. Trader had a great game tackle wise this last game, but we don't even know if he's going to play.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm out on Trader. That's
Yeah,
he's. I'm not
it's too
considering him at
risky for
all.
this week. Okay. So out of the other three, Bishop, Okada, who plays deep, and he's had some games where he's been limiting tackles. So I'm down to Bishop and Reed because Reed's actually been playing. I actually commented on that in the show about it was nice of Justin Reed to start playing and start earning his contract the past couple of weeks with the Saints.
Yeah, he's
And the
actually been
Saints
on fire.
defense and the Saints defense would be on the field quite a bit. Cole Bishop got a lot of his points this past week from pass deflections, and
Tua
that's hard to
is.
repeat. He had 4 this past week against the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, Tua's really good at throwing interceptions, and I look for him to take the lead back over Geno Smith.
That's a good
uh,
call out.
and I figure Bishop's good for at least one interception this week.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
Tackle heavy scoring.
I'm still taking Reed over Bishop, but I like Bishop this week too, though. But I
Okay.
do like the role that Reed has been on, the tackles he's racking up, and just how run heavy I'm expecting the Panthers to be. So I'm expecting him to get plenty of tackles.
So Justin Rito, Cole Bishop, we are aligned. Good luck and welcome, and hope we see you in the future as well. OG, welcome back. OG needs 3 linebackers, 15 points for sacks, and 3 points for a tackle. Eric Wilson, who racked up 2 sacks this past week. Servasia Dennis, who had a sack, I believe, in his last game. Jamian Sherwood and Drake Thomas. Well, 1 sack can, basically take care of 5 tackles.
Eliminate everything here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I think
Do you think
the
Eric
Wilson.
Wilson can repeat? Do you think they will blitz him as much against Baltimore and Lamar Jackson as they've done in previous weeks? I'm not so sure they will. I think that's more matchup driven.
Yeah, if Wilson gets a sack this week, it's because Lamar was trying to run and he just happened to tackle him just barely short of the line of scrimmage, and they
Yeah,
might rule
Lamar
it a sack.
Jackson does a
Yeah,
slide thing or something, or
yeah,
Lamar
just
Jackson runs out of bounds right before the line of scrimmage. Could be something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know that I expect Sherwood to be on many blitzes this week. I really don't know what to expect from the Jets. Drake Thomas. I think Drake Thomas is the odd man out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm leaving out as well. Sherwood would, Dylan Gabriel, with all his short passes on the one hand, he it hasn't created a lot of opportunities for sacks because he's a lot of short passes and getting rid of it pretty quick. On
Yeah,
the other hand, if he wants to keep his job, he's got to try and start throwing a little bit more downfield. I think this is the week that they try and flip that switch, and I think they struggle with it. And Sherwood may have your best chance for a sack, but Drake Thomas is of these. I'm going to leave him out as well. I'm with you on that. All right, we have Stephen Smith, which is not Stephen A. Smith, as we talked about last week. Who do I pick up to start with Ernest Jones injured? We have Lake from the Rams, Curl from the Rams, Levante David from the Bucks. And that's if he can move Jones to IR before 12. That's interesting because Seattle
he's
is
doubtful.
in the
Yeah,
late window and is doubtful. So I I doubt, unfortunately,
yeah,
that he'll be changed to out until inactives come out, hour and a half before their start, which means the early window will have started. So that's going to be a challenge for you there. Now he has Devin Lloyd, though we expect to play. Devin Lloyd, he actually came off the injury report, as I talked about a little bit earlier in the show. I talked about him playing because he's completely off the injury report. Levante David, I don't remember Levante David having any designation. So
he's good to go
yeah, so
as far
Lloyd
as
is
I recall.
and Levante Davis good to go. So now that we've kind of talked through that a little bit and sort of helped Steven out, Ernest Jones most likely won't go on to out for him to move to injured reserve. But out of Lake and Curl and David, which one would you pick up to play? Curl's dropped off a little bit after his hot start from a tackle's perspective. But I tend to always want to go with the linebacker, Shawn.
Yeah, I am in this situation. I don't see. I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to give a whole lot of points for Curl or Lake in this one. I think it's all landman. We already went over that. So yeah, give me David.
Okay. If you had to pick between the other two, which ones would you go with?
I probably trust Curl more than Lake,
Hmm.
not by a lot.
I would lean Lake over Curl by a little bit. So
Yeah,
sorry about that, Steven. So Levante David, and then it's really a coin flip between Lake and Curl. Though, you know what? The 49ers have been playing a lot of two tight ends, now that I think about it. Lake gets more of his points when he's down in the slot, but then he'll probably be playing a little bit more deeper safety with more two tight ends. So I will go Curl over Lake. David Curl Lake. All right, let's move on. BJ says hi there, and we say hi there to you as well, BJ. Let's go to Benj Main. All right, Ben. So start Bishop or Mustafa, or start both and bench Derwin. We've talked about all these guys already today.
I'm not benching
Uh,
Derwin.
I'm not benching Derwin against the Steelers either. and I'm going Mustafa over Bishop.
I am too. Although I
Okay.
do like all three of these, but I am not putting Derwin on the bench. No way.
All right. Then he's saying start Chase Young, Vita Vea, or Alex Wright. Wow, that was very similar to the previous question, except and here's the scoring system. He says, I have Young right now. We need to drop him. I also have Jonathan Cooper and Jeff Simmons. Well, Cooper's already played, so you're out of luck on that. Here's his scoring system: 1.5 for a tackle, 3/4 for assist, 6 for a sack, and 2 for a tackle for loss. So let's go back and look at his list here. I'm still in the same boat. It's for me. It's even with that scoring system. We're going Vea, Chase Young, and Alex Wright in that order. And you're
I'm
going to
not.
go Chase
I'm
Young.
not. I'm not hating the matchup for Vea. I'm really not. I'm trying to come around, Ricky. Trying to come
Don't
around.
feel like
Alex
yeah.
Wright's the clear last on this list. Is
So
he
we're
just
still torn. We're still torn between the whole Chase Young and Vita Vea thing, Ben. So, I think
It's a
if
really good matchup for Vea. It really is.
it's a great matchup for Vea, Chase Young has a chance of getting you a sack here against Bryce Young.
So here's the thing that's entering my mind now. Last week, the Packers, the Panthers, we had Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary. Neither one got a sack. Neither one got a quarterback hit.
That is correct. You called that out in the notes very clearly, and I mentioned that previously.
Yeah, yeah, it pissed me off because they should at least got 5 hits each, but they got nothing. So I will, I'll go with you. I'll say Vita Vea over Chase Young this week. I'm going to switch until I can see the Panthers falter again on the offensive line. I'll harbor my love for Chase Young.
Right. So here's BJ's question that went along with his hello from earlier. Need to find a replacement for Tatum Bethune if he cannot play. So this is a just in case. We do expect him to play,
Yeah,
but just in case. Same with D Winters. We do expect him to play. So Winters, Luvu, Delpit, Duggar, Malachi Moore,
Jalen
or
Phillips.
Jalen Phillips. That's not Jacob Phillips, the former LSU
No, the IR savant.
linebacker.
I'm actually more worried about D Winters not playing than Tatum Bethune because D Winters did not practice, I believe, on Thursday and then came back to limited on Friday. So his knee is flaring up and
He
swelling
had
is what I'm seeing.
he actually had two designations. It was a knee and something else, if I remember
Mm.
correctly.
The knee was the injury that he got a couple weeks ago. The same with when Fred Warner went out, I think, or maybe it's the week after. Anyway, Winters has a knee issue. They keep calling it inflammation. I don't like that. Uh, I'm expecting
So
Bethune to play. He's the guy I'm going with. It's not going to be Winters for me if I have to pick somebody.
So so you're worried about if he does play, he gets injured and doesn't make it through a full game. So out of these others, you rolling with Delpit?
Delpit or actually Malachi Moore intrigues me a little bit. I don't trust Duggar. I don't trust Jalen Phillips to just come in right away. I mean, he could. He knows the system. I want to see it. Luvu, I have love hate with. I don't trust him either. He could still be punished by the team in my eyes.
Yeah, someone asked that question, and I have to admit, I don't think they will. I mean, it would just be cutting off their nose to spite their face. But he's just being used so much on the edge right now
Mm,
because they don't have any pass rush, which is allowing McGee to get some snaps as well. So with that, I'm on Delpit. Are you? But and the reason I'm on Delpit is they finally started blitzing him after Miles Garrett complained to Jim Schwartz, defense coordinator, that they weren't being aggressive enough,
that's
and
true.
he blitzed and got a blitz sack. And so that's why I'm leaning towards Delpit on this one over Malachi Moore, who is going to give you 4 or 5 tackles, maybe, is my
Yeah,
gut on Malachi Moore.
yeah, I don't hate that. And we were just talking about how the Browns, they may throw a little more this week. It's not a guarantee. Um, that's speculation on our end. So, yeah, Delpit's probably the safer bet here. I'll go with you on that. I'm
Okay.
going to have to see it again from Duggar. Duggar was a nice 1 week addition. Well, he didn't really do that much last week. It was cool. He jumped in, played right away, but we're going to have to see more out of him.
We have to see more out of him.
Yeah, I'm
More
going to
out of
have to
more.
out of Duggar.
More out of more and more out of Duggar. No, okay, gotcha. All right, Silence. Welcome, Silence. Sherwood, Demura Davis, Landman, Cashman, linebacker. Rank in order for ceiling. 1 point for tackle IDP league.
Ceiling.
For ceiling, that's an interesting question. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you analyze this one real quick, and I'm going to check some inactives, see if there's any surprises to let our audience know here.
Yeah, so going to ceiling here. I've seen Sherwood put up like 30 tackles in a game. Uh, he can hit the double digits pretty highly. Mario Davis has a little bit of blitz capabilities here, high tackles, Landman sacks, interceptions. Cashman can do all those things as well. Give me Sherwood number one here, just because I see his tackle floor being higher than the others. Um, and his tackle floor is usually high enough to counteract a low tackle floor with a sack. So Sherwood's still the top dog for me. Boy, I think a healthy Cashman is my number two here, just based on Brian Flores. He'll use him for blitzing. We've seen him rack up fumbles, interceptions, stuff like that. So I like his abilities here. I'm going to take Davis over Landman just because I know Davis can get all the tackles. They use him in blitz situations every now and then as well. I expect him to be on the field a lot today. So I'll take him third, Landman fourth.
Okay, just a couple of things here. We talked about Dante Trader earlier. Ashton Davis is inactive, as is Chop Robinson, but Melifonwu is active. So I'm willing to bet Melifonwu starts over Trader. But at the same time, I could see them both playing about 50-50. And Christian Binford is a surprise inactive. I thought he was going to play. Devin Lloyd is active. And so far as I'm looking through the list, those are the only kind of maybe potential surprises from what we were thinking. On the offensive side, Andre Swift is active. JD Bertrand actually just did something good. It appears, but I missed it in the background. I just showing him jumping around, showing something. Okay, so Silence. There's your answer from Shawn. Good luck to you, sir. And sorry that I was just double checking for everyone to see if there was any surprise in active. Still not seeing any yet beyond what I just called out. Red Herring. Good morning to you as well, Red Herring. Quick one today. Terrell Bernard or Minka Fitzpatrick in balanced scoring. Appreciate y'all's content, and we appreciate you following us regularly, Red Herring. Thank you very much.
I don't like Terrell Bernard right now at all. Uh, I'll take Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick.
I think I still like him to slightly outdo Terrell Bernard. Bernard hasn't done anything between injuries and just not getting the stats. Do I think one of Tua's interceptions go to Bernard?
Probably not.
Could, but
Could.
that messes up my Bishop take.
Yeah, 95% of the time I'm going to go linebacker over safety. But in this one, Bernard's been so disappointing. I'm going to take a chance and do the Fitzpatrick thing as well in that matchup against the Chargers. So there you go, Red Herring. We're going to a little bit of a surprise call on that one, and good luck. Hopefully, we're not steering you wrong on that one. Rugaroo, good morning to you, sir. We're not going to talk about LSU. At least our defense showed up, Rugaroo. So our offense chose not to. He's asking between Cooper DeJean, Marcus Jones, and Jalen Ramsey. So Ramsey's been moved to a full-time safety role, but he played 77% of the snaps deep, and he did get 5 tackles. So one of the things, Rugaroo, for you to consider is, are your safeties and cornerbacks, do they have different scores, and do your cornerbacks get more points for tackles? If it is a bump up for that, then the Ramsey you could consider. Okay. So, but let Shawn, the Gene, Marcus Jones, Ramsey, which one are you
I,
going with?
I'm just picking one or two.
Oh, I'm sorry. He says need two. My bad. He needs two.
I'm sitting Marcus Jones. Even though Ramsey's playing deep, Chuck Clark's coming back. Uh, they may swap these two around a little bit, let Ramsey play more up close and play Chuck Clark deep. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Chuck Clark has traditionally been a deep safety, so I could see Ramsey actually coming up more in the box this week in the slot, and this should be a shootout either way, even if he is playing deep. So I'm fine to start Ramsey. And DeJean, I trust him over Marcus Jones.
Yeah, Marcus Jones has been fairly big play dependent this year as well. Now, his next question: Parsons or Yaya? Yeah, so a lot of concerns after Parsons laid that goose egg last week. Of course, in the week before, he had multiple sacks. So Yaya has a great matchup. I do expect him to get a sack this week. But are you going to bench Micah Parsons even against the Eagles, Shawn?
I buy it out of spite. I'm probably still starting Parsons, but if he lets me down again, I'm putting him on the bench for sure. But you made a good call. Yaya does have a really good matchup against the Patriots, so I feel like you're okay either way on this one. But I expect Parsons to get a big bounce back after that dud in Carolina. So
Yeah, it's kind of like a few weeks ago when Christian McCaffrey had that bad game. So I like to use the offensive analogy sometimes. The next week, you went ahead and started him. And so it's when you have super studs like that, it's hard to sit them because, like I know someone who sat Miles Garrett because they were so frustrated with him and missed out on five sacks. So that's something I think I does have a chance to outscore Parsons, but Parsons has a chance for a major blowout. So that's how I look at that. And he's asking Wandale or Debo if no Tet. Tet is active. I was just checking that as we are talking as well.
I'm not starting Tet. No,
You
not
still
with
not
no. That hamstring popped up late in the week. It was a hamstring, right?
you? Yes, it was a hamstring.
I
So
expect them to be
what?
run heavy anyway. I don't see them risking Tet too much here with too many targets.
Interesting. I'm actually comfortable with Tet. 'Cause I don't think they would risk him if it was something serious. I think they would probably just. I think it was just over precaution. It's against the Saints too. So if there's a week they could feel comfortable not playing him, it would
Mm-hmm.
be this week against the
That's
Saints, and
true.
they're still letting him
Yeah.
go. So I'm leaving Ted in there. If I had to pick out of the two, Wandale would be my choice over Debo. I'm not trusting Mariota, although I
Yeah.
do need to play Debo in the league because I got so many outs and injuries.
I'm taking
So,
Wandale over Tet and Debo.
okay.
Yep.
All right. So Rugaroo, if you want to be wrong, go ahead and follow Sean on this one. If you want to be right, follow me on this one. And boy, I'm going to eat
Would have to
those words.
write this
I
one
have a
down. I
bad
know.
feeling. Yeah, exactly. This
Wandale
was going to bite
versus
me in the. I
Tet.
was about to say it's going to bite me in the. You know what? Okay, John Wasco is asking, because of the weather in Chicago, would he bench Caleb for Aaron Rodgers? I can't. You know, so when they're gust, that doesn't mean it's full
Constant.
time,
Yeah.
constant that bad win. So to me, there's more of a worry on the kicking side of things right now. Um, there's no talk about snow or anything along those lines. So I'm still okay with Caleb, particularly over Aaron Rodgers in this situation.
Yeah, I'm fine with either one of these guys. I'm expecting a shootout between the Steelers and Chargers. Um, but yeah, I don't think I'm starting Rodgers over Caleb. And we were looking at I think 16 to 20 mile an hour gusts. It was not 40 mile an hour huge tide turning stuff here. So just
That
some wonky stuff every now and then, but for the most part, this game should be okay.
Yeah, studies have shown that 15 miles per hour, in particular constant, is where the problems start. But this is only 16 to 20 and is periodic, which is down from previous forecasts. If you checked a few days ago, they were talking in the 30 range periodically. So anyway, with that, stick with Caleb, John, and good luck to you. Speaking of Johns, John Carlos, who has put some kind words on the YouTube channel for us, and I really appreciate that, John Carlos. Thank you very much. We both appreciate those kind words. So, starting linebackers: Peyton Wilson, Buchanan, and Servasia. Who should us start out of Schlesinger, Bethune, or Demario Davis? We might even want to talk about his starters right now if he's got these three. Um, Schlesinger,
I'm
um,
not playing Sweshinger this week.
yeah, I can't take the chance with that injury. And let me see if we have an update on the inactives for the Browns. One moment, please. Talk about the others, Shawn, while I check that out here.
Yeah, I'm actually really big on Tatum Bethune. The dude has had double digit tackles every game that he has started. So I like him over Teddy Buchanan, who is playing less now that Roquan is back. So he is on the field less. Give me Tatum Bethune over him for sure. Mario Davis, fantastic matchup, I think, this week. The old man's still getting the tackles. I don't think I start him over Savassier or Peyton, though.
So, as a side note, Schlesinger is active. He is not on the inactive list, but the question is he
That's
going to play his full
crazy.
complement of snaps? And
I'm not
how
trusting
effective
that.
will it truly be?
I don't trust that. I really don't. I'm going to set him this week. That's
Okay,
against
so
the Jets. Jets could come out and run the ball a lot and give him a lot of tackles, or they could fall on their face and barely be on the field. So give me another week for I'll put Carson in my start lineup.
with that, your final answer, because I'm putting Bethune in for sure over these other three, and I heard you talking about that as I was looking
Yeah,
up the Browns inactives.
I'm taking Buchanan out and putting in Bethune. I'm
And
I'm
I think
considering Davis over Wilson, but I think I'm okay keeping Wilson in there
I'm actually considering Davis over Dennis.
over Dennis. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't like Sabasier
With
this week?
I like him, but I love Davis against the Panthers. You called it out earlier.
I like Davis too.
The Panthers are going to run the ball a heck of a lot. I think they will. It'll be lopsided. I think the Panthers will play about 80 snaps on offense, and the Saints will play about 40, roughly, just round
Yeah.
numbers kind of thing. And that means Davis will be on the field a lot.
Well,
And I
with
don't
the
expect that it'll be a blowout kind of game either, because the Panthers' offense isn't that explosive. So
with
I'm
the
leaning.
Chargers not having much of a run game, how much do you think that impacts Wilson? Because he was more of that rundown guy until when him and Holcomb were in and out. Is that going to hurt Peyton Wilson this week? You think?
Um,
That's why I was considering Davis over Wilson, where I think Dennis will have a better matchup, be on the field a little more in the run support, and possibly blitz against Drake May and them.
That's a fair call out as well. So Bethune, Davis, and Wilson slightly over Dennis. That would be our call, John Carlos. So now, if your heart is on those first three, that's fine. But we want to let you know that we would do it a little bit different when we go with Bethune and Davis and Peyton Wilson. Okay.
Yeah.
Ben says, "Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated. You're very welcome, Ben." Ted Allen gives us the scoring system. Says he picked up Sherwood. Wow, someone dropped Sherwood. Good for you.
Oh, because they got
Uh,
benched the previous week or whatever.
yeah, he got benched for the first quarter. It still hasn't come out as to why, but he played every snap the rest of the game. On top of that, as we talked about early in the show, Ted, Quincy Williams has been benched, so Sherwood we expect to play all four quarters. And so you're asking, so this must be a fairly shallow league, because he's saying drop him for Dodson, Cashman, Bethune, Devin White, Quay Walker, Caden Ellis, or Zaire Franklin. So they must only start one linebacker for the most part, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it would have to be. Just week to week matchup, you can pretty much just pick the guy you want that week. Cashman, we like. Bethune has been on fire. Devin White came back to earth because he wasn't on the field for 80 snaps this past week. He's probably tired from getting 32 tackles previous 2 weeks. So Dotson's matchup isn't the greatest, although he did have a decent game against the Bills last week, or last time they played. Uh, Ellis is hard to trust. Franklin, we don't trust at all. Quay
And Ellis
Walker,
is playing right now, so that rules
yeah.
him out. And it's only
Sherwood or
half a
Cashman?
point for a sack. And so it's really 1 point for a solo, half a point for, I'm sorry, it's 3 points for a sack. My apologies. But still, I think I'd just stick with Sherwood.
I am too. Cashman is the only one I would might consider this week over him, but I'm fine with Sherwood. But Cashman, Bethune, those are guys that I would might rotate out with Sherwood depending on matchups.
All righty. Let's go to John. And John saying, I'm a fan of you guys. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, John. We're a fan of you because you follow us, man. Paul Martin has a question here. And Shawn, we are starting to run low on time, so we're going to have to go very quick. We have a few more questions we'll try and get to here. So Paul is asking, pick two out of Sewell, Roseboom, and Drake Thomas. Which one are you leaving out?
I'm definitely starting Thomas.
We had
I
this
think,
Roseboom Sewell debate a little bit earlier.
yeah, Roseboom.
Roseboom, you leaving out or are you playing?
I'm playing him over Sewell. I think he'll get just enough to outdo Sewell, where Sewell is all floor, no ceiling. Roseboom has a little more ceiling.
All right, let's move on. Red Herring has one more question for us. Would you start Thule, Hines Allen, or Herbig over Minka? So one of those three over Minka.
Hines Allen.
I would play Hines Allen as well, but the scoring system is always key on this. And I don't think he gave us the scoring system earlier. So
That's all
Hines
right.
Allen,
I don't need it for this week. Hines Allen over Minka.
Allen over Minka it is. Isaac Salazar. Hello, Isaac. Harold Landry, Chase Young. I started Latu, forgot they played the early game. Chase Young, this is an easy one for me. Harold Landry
Yeah.
hasn't been doing anything.
Yep.
And Isaac also says, good morning. Good morning to you as well, Isaac. BJ has one more for us. The Ravens or the Rams defense today? So we've got the Ravens going against, I always have to just double check myself, the Vikings and the Rams against the Niners.
I'll start the Rams over the Niners. These games are usually kind of close anyway. They've been known to be low scoring. I trust Mac Jones to get a turnover or two for that defense, and then the sacks are probably what I'm looking for the most here.
The Rams and the boy, this one is really close. I see why he's struggling with it. Man, I hate to split it.
You going Ravens?
Of course, the Vikings do have both their offensive tackles playing this week. So I'm going to take it back. I am going to go with the Rams over the Ravens defense on this one. And I'm counting on Mac Jones to throw a couple of interceptions, unfortunately.
Yep.
Robert is asking, hey, Robert, I don't know if we've had you before. I apologize if we forgot, but welcome. Glad to have you. Any very deep safety plays you like this week? Bye weeks are killing me. Robert, it's so hard without, I tell you what, and I see he has something. He has here the Jets DBs, for example.
Tony Adams.
That's really deep. Of course, Cisco got put on IR. Malachi Moore. I've played Malachi Moore for Adams.
Yeah, I have been in a really deep league. Outside of that, nobody else is really jumping off the top of the list for me here.
It's so hard without knowing, rosters and all. Robert, if you're still listening and you can get us a few quick names here before we get off the air, see if you could type in a few quick names for us to consider from your free agents, okay? Daniil Hunter is also available. I don't think that changes our answer for Isaac from earlier.
Nope.
And And he's saying, as is Greg Russo, and you are a
Nope.
Greg Russo hater. So,
Nope. Nope. Yep. I'll take Hunter over Russo.
yeah. And Ted Allen says, thanks, guys. I'll stick with Sherwood. We played 2 IDP. My other is Roquan Smith. Yeah, you
Dude,
should be in pretty good. You should
yeah.
be in good shape there, Ted.
I find leagues like that even harder because you have to make that choice between two really good studs, three really good studs, four really good studs. You know what I mean? Like it's harder to pick who's going to have the slightly better week over being able to start all three in a deeper league.
Exactly. So I'm for to help out on the previous question. I'm trying to find some other. I'm going to some my safety scoring list here.
Antonio
Uh,
Johnson, if you're truly desperate for the Jaguars.
that's really deep. I do Evan Williams over him. He might be. Oh, Robert gave us some names. Fantastic, Robert. Thank you. And ironically, he mentioned Antonio Johnson. Antonio Johnson.
We're doing really good.
Yeah. So let me check the Giants inactives and see if Jevon Holland is inactive. Jevon Holland is active, so that pretty much rolls out Dane Belton. We
So
do more over Adams. Would you do more over Antonio Johnson?
this week, yes, because I don't expect Houston to do much.
So
That's
so which
so
one? I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I think I'm taking Malachi Moore
I
over the other
Malcolm
two.
Moore, and he also mentions he is starting Flanagan Fowles. So I'd
That's
start
not a
Flanagan
bad
Fowles.
choice.
I'd start him over all those safeties if you're talking about for the same positions. Flanagan Fowles definitely over all those guys. You agree, Sean?
Yeah. Yep. For
And
sure.
then, but if you need someone else besides Flanagan Fowles, then it would be Malachi Moore. And Isaac is saying, haha, didn't know you weren't fans of Russo. Love the show, guys. Thank you, Isaac. Sean is the Russo hater for the record. I don't hate Russo. It's just he has been very inconsistent through the years.
He's
And that,
overrated.
Sean thinks he's overrated. I don't know if he's overrated. I don't
He's
fully agree with
overrated.
that.
All the lists I've seen over the years where this is going to be his breakout. Never had double digit sacks, isn't consistent, doesn't have a high tackle floor, and he's in one of the worst divisions. So he really should have a lot more
Yeah.
going against the Dolphins and the Jets. So yeah, he's overrated. Joey
And
Bosa had to
that's
come in and get stats just to make the Bills look good on
and
victory
that's
last
Sean
week.
opinion for the record.
Yeah, those are
He's
all
match
facts.
I'd rather say he's matchup dependent. I'll leave it at that. All right. So that kind of wraps up the show for today, folks. Please keep an eye out for our IDP Plus Advice Show, which we record on Tuesday nights and release early Wednesday morning. Going to go through all the snap counts, positional alignments, who plays deep, all that kind of fun stuff for you all. We'll look at playing time. Um, we continue to get some very nice feedback on YouTube, and we really do appreciate the kind words and comments. With that, let's call it a wrap. And please give me a follow at RickyRod66 and Shawn8386 on X. You know what? Isaac is asking one more question. Since he's been so kind, we're going to sneak it in. Fannin or Schultz?
Schultz.
He lost. Yeah, I think Fannin was like to the wire if he was going to be active or not. Plus, so because of that injury concern on Fannin, we'll go with Schultz on that one. Okay. All injuries are not the same when they're questionable. Fannin was like to the wire decision.
Yeah.
So I'd go with Schultz on that one too. Okay, so I just told you where to follow us. Check out IDB Plus Advice Show. With that, on behalf of my partner, Shawn Teague, this is Ricky Roderick wishing you, your family, your friends great health and happiness. Be kind to one another and good luck in week 10, everybody.